Yeah, alright. I'm just sort of alt-tabbed looking at Chrome, reading about that story where these people were cheating on each other while I wait.
All right, I found the following damage trait. It's fine.
Yeah?
I'm good to go.
Brooke and I have early classes, so we're gone by 8 AM. Derek and Alexis start in the afternoon, so it's not unusual for them to leave together, though they usually take separate cars. One of these days, I decided to wait for Alexis outside of her class so I could surprise her with lunch. I watched everyone shuffle out of the class, but Alexis wasn't with them. I texted her asking where she was, and she just replied, "Just got out of class, gonna go home to study." I called her to see if I had just barely missed her or something, but there was no response, which I considered weird because she had texted me just a second ago. She didn't answer until much later, which was also unusual for her. She's one of those girls that's often on her phone. I ran into Brooke later in the day and she mentioned in passing that Derek had stayed at home sick. She was going to bring him soup, blah blah blah. At the time, I didn't think much of it. When I got home later that night, I noticed her car was in the exact same spot. She usually parks in guest parking because our unit only has 3 spaces. I asked her if she'd gone to class and she got quiet before sheepishly admitting to skipping because she felt the professor sucked at explaining things, but she knows I hate when she skips classes. This is kind of boring. I kissed her and said I trusted her judgment. While I was doing the dishes, she explained how she probably won't skip again because being bored alone in the house was the worst. I laughed and we went about our business. At night, we went to bed, and as I laid there drifting off, it hit me. She shouldn't have been at home alone because Derek was home sick, right? She was still up on her phone, so I popped awake and asked her where Derek was today, since Brooke had said he was home sick. She seemed startled by the question, but that may have been from me being half asleep to suddenly awake. She said he was here in the morning, but went to do errands or something, she wasn't sure. After the other incidents, I realised that the scattered way she answered this question seemed off, but that may have been my imagination. That was incident 1. Would you think, oh my god, you're here? Why are you letting me read this out if you're here?
Yeah, because it was interesting. I want to know if Derek
would you
was
think
banging,
she's cheating?
man.
Well, from that alone, would you think that she was cheating?
See, it's weird when I'm in a relationship. Usually I'm gonna go with a girl who likes to be honest with me, and that doesn't seem very honest to me. That seems like some childish high school type crap, and I ain't with all that. Okay,
incident 2. These people are in college, Matt. Okay, incident 2.
Yeah, it's still they don't leave high school.
So he says he thinks he's this is incident 2. I went to throw some stuff out in the kitchen garbage when I noticed a condom wrapper that was the exact same brand Alexis and I use.
Whoa.
It wasn't super visible, sort of tucked behind a cereal box, but the distinctive colour caught my eye. Brooke and Derek always use a different brand, free from the University Health Centre, while ours are expensive Trojans. Wow, subtle little brag there. It was weird because we usually keep the wrappers in our respective rooms' garbage cans so they never appear in the kitchen. Furthermore, because of exams and general stress, Alexis and I hadn't slept together in a few days. I didn't really dig around for a used condom or anything, I just went back to the room to check if any of ours were missing. I really couldn't tell because we buy in bulk. My first thought was that Brooke and Derek had ran out and broke into our stash, and I was upset that they hadn't even asked. Later that night, I mentioned the condom wrapper to Alexis and her eyes got wide. When I mentioned my theory, she got unusually distressed, she's always very calm, and went on a rant about them violating our privacy. I suggested we talk to them about it, and she immediately shut the idea down and made me swear not to bring it up unless they did it again. She didn't want to have this awkward conversation, which was weird because we're generally all pretty open about sex given that we live together. Though it is possible that Alexis was being genuine because she's from a conservative, small town and she doesn't talk about these things as much as we do. Would you think she's cheating now?
I know it could get real close sometimes where things could look like someone's cheating and it could not, but like, man, it's kind of hard to shake it though. I think it would be really hard to shake it, like, oh, is Alexis cheating? Is he?
I have a tendency to get a bit jealous, okay? I'll admit that. I'm a bit of a jealous
See, that's
type.
why you get a girl who's totally honest with you and loyal and stuff. Like,
what? So she can bang other dudes as long as she's honest about it. Alright, here we go. Incident 3. This is the last incident, alright? Me and Derek are cool with the dudes in the apartment next to us, who are graduates from our university. We don't hang out or anything, but we have the kind of relationship where we make small talk about sports or whatever in the hall, and are comfortable asking the other to keep it down without being awkward. Last Monday, during our break, I was locking up when no one else was at the apartment when I ran into one of the guys from next door. We talked football for a bit, and then he mentioned that one of the couples in the apartment is really a fan of morning sex, and that the walls were way too thin.
Oh.
I laughed because Alexis and I usually had sex weekend mornings when we had the house to ourselves. Brooke and Derek usually spend weekends at her parents' house for about an hour or so, so we had the time. The more I thought about it later the day, the more I realised we hadn't been having morning sex in about a month. On the weekends, it had always been more towards the evening or not at all. Did he mean on weekdays? My heart sort of dropped. I kind of want to ask him to elaborate, but the conversation ended and I feel like I missed my chance. Plus, it's a weird thing to ask and I feel like I must be being paranoid. So, there you have it. Am I crazy? Am I looking for signs that aren't there, or is something up? And if so, how do I proceed? I don't want to just ask because I don't want to come off as crazy and jealous, but if something is up, I don't want them to start hiding it better. I was thinking of dropping by one of those mornings they're alone together, but I don't know how to time it right. If I drop by too early or late, they might get more cautious. That's how the post ended.
Dang.
Okay, and anyway, the update came out today, and he got 5 golds, and basically he said, blah, blah, blah. They were banging. That's the end of the story. They were doing it.
I knew it!
She was cheating. She was cheating. It wasn't with Derek. It was with the guy next door. It was the guy next door that was doing it.
Oh, the guy that just told him about the morning sex?
Yeah.
Oh, the twist! Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I'll read the best bit, okay? The next morning, I left for classes as usual and operated on autopilot. Oh, wait. Okay, yeah, on autopilot. I alternated between thinking I'd run home to check on her and also thinking that I had too much work to run around based on a theory I wasn't even sure about. In the end, I walked out of my first class and straight to my car to go home. In a weird way, I sort of wish I hadn't. When I got to the apartment, Derek's car wasn't there, just Alexis's. I walked to the apartment with my heart pounding, all sorts of crazy. I don't know what I was expecting. Outside the apartment door, I could immediately hear a guy's voice inside. I heard him talking and laughing and a soft feminine mumble replying and giggling back. I've been on this subreddit long enough to see that all the different reactions people have to this situation. I never once contemplated what I'd do. I pressed my ear to the door to see if I could make out what they were saying, but I could only make out a word here and there. There was a lot of giggling. Then I heard the sound of Alexis being tickled and shrieking. Maybe I should have waited more. In retrospect, I wish I did, but I couldn't take it. As soon as I started fiddling with my keys, it was dead silence in there. She was fucking Mark. I never mentioned Mark in the previous post because he's one of the guys in the apartment next to us. He's the only one I never liked. He's a know-it-all douchebag with an attitude. Always made inappropriate comments towards both girls. Never thought anything of it. As soon as I opened the door, they both gave me a deer in headlights look that removed any naive doubt I may have retained about the situation if it was innocent. I was planning on yelling, but my eyes began to well with tears. I didn't want to see that shit, so I said nice, real fucking nice, and bolted back to my car. She yelled my name in the hallway as he picked up the pace. Oh my god, the drama is real. We'll have to stop.
Oh, dude, this is so good. Oh my gosh, you're gonna get me addicted to Reddit, dude. I have to. Oh, dude.
These are the best posts.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I can see it. I can see it. It's like reading a good book. Man, I miss those.
It's because it's not drama in our lives, so we get to enjoy it for it being other people's lives.
Exactly. But that's why when movies are so good. Books are so good.
Alright, well, that's all getting cut.